From a plethora of aspirants, candidates have begun to emerge for the forthcoming general elections billed for February here in Nigeria. Let's focus on the National Assembly as we cross live now to Abuja, where Casmir Ebubedike, who is seeking a seat on the Senate from the platform of the Abundant Nigeria Renewal Party, ANRP, joins us now.
All right, glad to have you join us, Casmir Ebubedike. Interesting name. All right, why do you want to run for Senate?
Thank you very much for having me, and thank you for inviting me to their studios. Nigeria is going through a very difficult time at this point, and we seek change. We want people who understand what public service is all about. This is not about personal glorification. It's about people who would deliver dividends to the people. And in government and also in the National Assembly that enact laws for the people. And that's exactly what has guided me, to be where I'm at today. Now, if you look, our roads are in terrible conditions. Our youths are going to European countries under very hazardous conditions, to seek for a better life. So all these things, has really influenced my decision, to seek for public office to serve as a senator representing Imo East Senatorial Zone.
Okay. There are those who argue and say that a lot of political parties just populate the ballot papers every 4 years and then they go back and come back again every election year. Do you sincerely think that your party stands a chance?
Oh, very well. I thought about that, and that also influenced my decision. Listen, Abundant Nigeria Renewal Party, ANRP, is Nigeria's fastest growing political party of professionals and the grassroots. I understand and I know there are about 91 registered political parties.
Right.
So we are working hard to reach the grassroots through sensitization and through mobilization. And so far, the message has been well received by the people in the local communities, in places of worship, and far and wide. So we're very hopeful and we're confident.
All right, Casmir, I want you to give us your perspective of the Senate as we have it today. Some believe Nigeria should make both the Senate and the House of Representatives part-time, because most of the time, the members, I'm sure you watch, are at large. So what's your perspective, really, of our Senate as it is today?
First of all, I'll start from the genesis of the Senate as we have it. Nigeria currently operates the presidential system of government, which we borrowed from the United States. And so you compare it vis-a-vis with what's currently obtainable, in the United States. So I don't see any kind of conflict, either in terms of reducing the numbers or increasing the numbers. I think it's okay as it is currently constituted. However, I think there has to be more commitment from the senators and also from other members of the National Assembly in terms of how to guarantee the freedom of the Constitution, how to guarantee the operations of the different aspects of government and separation of powers, and watch it like a watchdog and make sure that there's no infringement from one side to the other at any point in time. So that's what I think.
Casmir, about 109 senators in Nigeria, and then when you look at the number of bills we have every legislative year, or the lifespan of every legislative tenure, you cannot compare the number of people there to the number of bills we see. Some haven't even proposed any bill. Are you going there to add to the numbers? And let me ask you right now, what bill is on your mind if you got to the Senate? What bill would you be proposing first?
Well, I will start from education. I the current information from UNICEF, United Nations Children's Education Fund, is that over 12 million kids are out of school. So we have to look into that. And more importantly, there's an explosion waiting to happen in this country, which is unemployment. Every year, the universities, the polytechnics, and the colleges of education, they graduate thousands of students every year. And every year also, they take in thousands of students without any comparable employment for these kids. So what do? So it's a problem, and it's something that we have to watch. And I'd like to add something, and I'll talk directly to the elite in this country. Now, when we send our children to England and to the United States and all over the place to get quality education, we have a responsibility to make sure that the children of the less gifted and the poor also receive as much education and quality education. So when the children of the elite are graduating to become doctors, lawyers, engineers, scientists, programmers, let the same opportunity be available to the children of the poor, because it's a price that we have to pay tomorrow if we don't educate them. If they are not equally lawyers, engineers, and doctors like the rest of the children and the rest of the youth, they would fall back on what they know, which is armed robbery, cultism, and the rest of the vices in the society. So we have to fight for this thing, and that's what I intend to do.
All right.
Also, I'm looking at the people in the diaspora who contribute over $22 billion annually to the national treasury. I think they should have a voice in Abuja, and also they should have a voice in who rules this country and who will get elected. Because at the end of the day, history will record us not as having elected Northerners or Southerners, Christians or Muslims, Protestants or Catholics as our leaders. We will always be remembered for those we elected who either pushed us up or pulled us down.
Good talk. Casmir, good talk. It's interesting. They say talk is cheap. I'm sure you have heard about that. Talk is cheap. Now, you talked about our youths going over to Europe. You also talked about, you observed about how you were going to change that, our youths going to Europe and what you've said now. What is your plan? What's your action plan for achieving this? What do you intend to do to get this done? Like I said earlier, talk is cheap, but is the action that seems to be a problem?
Well, the first thing is what I'm doing by going through the electoral process. Now, I recently secured my party's nomination to run for the office of the Senate for Imo East Senatorial Zone. So the first thing I'll do is to ask people to look at my credentials and get me elected. When I get elected, first of all, I have a world and global experience. The world these days is all about globalization. So I would not make promises that I can't deliver. And my promise to the people from my zone. And also, I like to say, as I'm running, that Owerri is my zone, Imo East Senatorial Zone is my zone, but also Nigeria is my province. So you cannot be a Nigerian senator and restrict yourself within local perimeters and boundaries. So I intend to come up with a lot of legislation and ideas that would promote education, like I previously said, that will grant the people in the diaspora to vote and to have a voice in Abuja. And
Casmir.
also to be a pillar of hope for the rest of, and the influence for the rest of the Senate.
We can only wish you the very best.
I cannot speak.
Indeed. Casmir, Ebubedike, we wish you the best in this political endeavor you're going into.
I have enjoyed you, actually. like you said, we can only wish you the best. ARPN, you have APC, and then you have PDP. I hope you can make it. All right, thank you very much.